I'm Brandon and this is Video Game History, a show where I look back on certain franchises of video games and retrospectively review them. As we continue going through Cartoon Network's video game history, we come to the second game in a trio of Powerpuff Girl games, Paint the Townsville Green. Paint the Townsville Green was released on November 28, 2000, just 2 weeks after Bad Mojo Jojo was released. The whole release schedule and basically everything surrounding these games makes absolutely no sense, and I honestly can't come up with a reason for why this is a trio of games other than a poor attempt at a cash grab. It appears nobody even bothered to review this game, as there isn't a single review of it on the internet. However, based on the quality of Bad Mojo Jojo, I'm sure this will be garbage too. If you watched my Bad Mojo Jojo review, you'd know these games have trading cards and secret codes to unlock things in other games, so it's not much of a surprise to see that they've returned here. The major difference between this game and Bad Mojo Jojo is that this game has you take control of Buttercup, while the story focuses on the Gangrene Gang causing trouble in Townsville. While technically you are a different character, Buttercup controls identically to Blossom, retaining the slow and slippery movement, as well as having an identical projectile attack. Additionally, all of the enemies are the same, while most of the locations are reused from the first game. These locations are slightly altered, however they're essentially the same. Anyone starting to notice a pattern here? Admittedly, I did enjoy the levels here more than Bad Mojo Jojo's. Things such as fighting on the train and the subway are much more interesting than anything that was previously thrown at me. Playing this game is so fatiguing. Even after taking some time between playing this and Bad Mojo Jojo, it still felt like I was just replaying all the same stuff. Other than the Gangrene Gang being present, nothing new is really thrown at you, which makes it tough to stay motivated and slog through the game. It really feels like these games should have been combined to make one bigger game. Perhaps BAM forced Scenarion to split them up to try and cash in on what Pokemon had done so effectively. The end of each level has you facing off against a different member of the Gangrene Gang, which was a welcome addition as it made every boss battle unique, instead of facing Mojo Jojo in the same battle multiple times. There's also one instance where you face off against Fuzzy Lumpkins. Unfortunately, it appears to be poorly programmed, as there were several times where your freeze power will flat out not work on him for no rhyme or reason. Unfortunately, these boss battles still suffer from the problem of being easy and unenjoyable. You still find way too many vials of Chemical X around levels, resulting in you having a stockpile of 20 when it comes to the boss battle. This contributes to the boringness of fights significantly. Arguably the most grating case of just reusing assets from the previous game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is exactly the same. There's like one song in all 3 of these games and it's now burned into my brain. Just so much better to play the game with the sound off. It also seemed like the game went by so much more quickly than the first because I already had experience playing it, which I'm kinda happy about. The less time I have to spend with these games, the better. Just like the first game, there are 5 levels with 2 secret levels unlocked by codes, and a final secret level that unlocks once you have beaten everything else. You just take on the Rowdy Rough Boys again, which is completely underwhelming. There are also secret codes that unlock other playable characters such as the Mayor, Boomer, Brick, Bubbles, and Blossom, who is incorrectly called Buttercup on the activation screen. Why weren't these 3 games just one title? Or alternatively, if they wanted to be like Pokemon, why didn't they release them all on the same day with the exact same campaign, just with a different girl playable? Instead, they technically released 3 unique games, but they're basically the same. They all suck, and the fact that I have to review all 3 because they're technically different games is my worst nightmare. Overall, I'd say Paint the Townsville Green is slightly better than Bad Mojo Jojo, but it's still a terrible game. But hold on, we're not done with this video just yet. We're going to continue on with the Powerpuff Girls Battle Hymn, because I may have actually died if I had to make another whole video on this shitty series of games. Battle Hymn was released on February 27, 2001, a considerable amount of time after the first 2 games. As with Paint the Townsville Green, not a single review exists for this game, and I really don't blame review outlets for not touching this. So Battle Hymn is the final game in the trio, and focuses on Bubbles fighting him. This was the last straw for me. Upon starting the game, I was actually very optimistic. I immediately found out that Bubbles controls differently in this game. She's much quicker and nimble than Blossom or Buttercup, but unfortunately the slippery controls are still present. The game also suffers heavily from a problem present in the first 2. When traversing high up areas and levels, you never know whether you can drop down safely, or if you're killing yourself in a bottomless pit. This is extremely frustrating, as you have to go into some of these pits to get key items. From what I played, this game has the worst level design of the trio, and it also brings back my favourite mechanic of making you randomly collect a key item without telling you that you need it. Also, having to play through the same level for the third time is in no way enjoyable. It also felt like they tried to drag out levels in this game to make it longer than the previous two. The boss battles are also as shitty as ever. The second level's boss battle with the boogeyman was so bad it snapped something inside of me, and I could just no longer continue on. The hit detection in this boss battle is fucking unacceptable, and I've honestly never seen something as bad as this. This game is fundamentally broken. Just look, I'm literally standing on him and my kicks are going right into him, so why the fuck is he not taking damage? Eventually I slogged my way through the worst boss battle I have ever played, and decided I was done for good. All I can say is this game is disgracefully bad, and despite only playing 2 levels, it is by far the worst game I have ever played in my entire life. I'm so glad that I can now move on with different games after playing this shit show. This trio of games is a disgrace to the Powerpuff Girls series, and just like watching Mobile Suit Gundam Seed from start to finish, I wouldn't wish for my worst enemy to have to play these steaming piles of crap.